Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the atmosphere character of our world around us, and this time we will talk about the phenomenon that started very recently, but I think it started just in time, and it's good that it's taking place. What I mean? I mean that young people who are joining currently public life, like 20 plus, 30 plus, and they are having more and more to say, and they are slowly becoming more and more influential in some areas, are claiming openly, I do not want to hear about World War II, I do not want to hear about ad Hitlerum, ad Stalinum arguments, I do not want to hear comparisons of this genocide to this genocide, I do not want to be always put into the position that 80 something years ago there was an incredible uniqueness of something and today it's not the same, or it's going to be the same if we go this way, everywhere fascism or something like this. People are tired of these rhetorics, which is also natural, and this rhetorics was kept for long since the World War II ended, and it was fueled especially since second half of 1970s with so-called Holocaust industry and other victimhood industry that was living from it, profiting very much, especially in the late 1990s and in the early 2000s. Now it's slowly fading away. And people are tired of these pseudo-arguments, of these really used already arguments and used comparisons, empty ones. That is why this situation, if it continues like this, and it will open a new, and it's already opening, a new area in the historical studies for the Second World War and for the interwar period, which is good because the people who remember these times are almost not with us anymore. The final ones are dying, and we can just look at the World War II, its reasons why it blew up and its consequences. We can start looking at it, and some people already do, without emotions, without the pain of the victims and pain of the losers and empty pride of the winners. So we can just more and more objectively evaluate it and put it into the proper frame in our historical picture of the past. Similar things happened with the Napoleonic era, that more or less we have to wait 60-70 years after 1815, so after the final collapse of the Empire of the French, after the Battle of Waterloo, we had to wait about 60 years plus to have first books published, not only from the French side, that were more and more objectively describing these phenomena, this fabulous period of human history, which was the Napoleonic era that started with the coup d'etat of the 18th Brumaire in the revolutionary calendar, when the Napoleon just seized power and he started consulate. Later in 1804 he just proclaimed the empire, and he ascended the throne of the emperor of the French people. And we see that this epoch that ended in 1815 with the Battle of Waterloo was something incredible. It was not only the period of endless wars and intrigues, but also the period of of the creation of modern code of laws and modern societies. And it was the beginning of great progress in science that characterized the remaining 19th century. Incredible transformation of the world and incredible transformation of the societies. And thanks to this, we entered also en masse. We entered en masse the modernity in positive sense. That is why I'm really happy that similar things are now happening to the World War II. I mean, with our perception of this conflict, and that young people do not want to hear ad Stalinum, ad Hitlerum arguments anymore, and they do not want to be silenced so easily with these very used and old pseudo arguments, and they do not want to compare everything to World War II because it's pointless, because we have different problems currently and we are in completely different time, in completely different point. And this also opens the new possibilities for study Second World War in the context of the entire human history. This we were waiting for long, and I find the parallel, as I told you, with our perception of the Napoleonic era, also great era, full of wars and full of destruction, but also full of creation. Second World War, as we see, didn't bring a lot of the good things socially to us. Maybe it would, if not a neo-Marxist revolution supported by also the Eastern Bloc, the Frankfurt School of Marxism that emigrated from National Socialistic Germany to US later with Allied armies. After Allied armies in 1960s, it was reinstalled at the universities in the West. But in terms of the technological progress, like Napoleonic era, Second World War started a lot of technological progress that we benefit even today. So social changes, because maybe they can be reverted, because we see that changes are coming, especially last year from United States, maybe social changes will be also good. But for sure, Second World War had a lot of impact on our perception of the world, civilization, technology, and societies. As of now, not so good impact to the society, not as good as Napoleonic era, but technologically, also it benefited to us a lot. And I'm really happy that people started looking differently at the Second World War. It's important. All the best. Have a nice day. Bye.